Hello?
In a world full of troubles, people often turn to church for hope and blessings. But sometimes, what they see there is far from normal. From strange miracles to ghostly encounters, certain church videos will truly terrify you. How do these unexpected events shape our beliefs and understanding of the divine? Join us as we unveil 20 church videos that will shock you. Number 20. Miracle of weight loss. Prophet Makandiwa, the popular spiritual leader of Zimbabwe's United Family International Church, has gained attention for his ability to perform extraordinary miracles. Among these miracles is one where he allegedly caused a woman to lose a significant amount of weight through divine intervention. Prophet Makandiwa's teachings emphasize the profound impact of faith, drawing inspiration from Jesus' teachings that faith as small as a mustard seed can move mountains. In the recorded instance of this particular miracle, Prophet Makandiwa engaged in a shocking process. He began by inquiring about the woman's weight, which she disclosed as 110 kilograms. Subsequently, he prayed and spoke in tongues. As seen in the video, the woman collapsed for a while, only to rise and notice that her clothing, notably her skirt, felt noticeably looser. Then, Prophet Makandiwa invited her onto the platform, where there was a scale for her to check her weight. To the surprise of onlookers, including critics skeptical of such displays, the scale indicated that the woman now weighed 100 kilograms, a 10-kilogram reduction from her initial weight. Critics have raised valid questions about the circumstances surrounding the miracle. Some have questioned the presence of a scale within the church environment, suggesting planned or staged elements. Additionally, they point out the selective nature of Prophet Makandiwa's focus on the woman, amidst potentially similar attendees. Despite the controversies and debates, Prophet Makandiwa's ministry continues to draw followers who attest to the profound impact of his spiritual practices and teachings on their lives. Number 19. A frightening exploration. Explorers who love to venture into very strange places often set their sights on abandoned churches. These places, said to be haunted by spirits and demons, hold fearful secrets that can change a person forever. One such adventurer, whose name remains unknown, bravely decided to investigate one of these strange churches. Perhaps he had heard very terrifying tales from locals about strange happenings during prayers or puzzling sounds echoing through the night. Over time, the church had been abandoned by fearful residents. Equipped with only a flashlight, the explorer ventured inside. What he saw confirmed the scary stories. Sitting on a bench was a ghostly figure in white, its presence frightening and evil. At first, he mistook it for a person hiding under a sheet in the darkness. Initially, he called out, "Hello." The moment the ghost turned its face toward him, he realized with horror what it truly was. Shocked and overwhelmed, he screamed in terror and dashed for the nearest exit, his frantic breaths echoing through the desolate church. His desperate cries for help suggested the intense fear he felt, ensuring he would never return to face whatever haunted that abandoned location. Number 18. Miracle of Money. Pastor Seer 1. Andrew Ejimadu, widely known as Pastor Seer, is a Nigerian pastor based in South Africa who surprised his congregation by miraculously making money appear in the pocket of one of his church members during a regular Sunday service. Observing two troubled young men in the church, Pastor Seer approached them to inquire about their distress. One of the young men confided that they were lacking money. Pastor Seer then instructed them to empty their pockets, confirming there was indeed no money present. Turning to the congregation, Pastor Seer asked if he should miraculously place money in the young men's pockets, receiving a resounding yes from the eager crowd. He then offered them a choice of currency, dollars, pounds, or local rand, and interestingly, the congregation opted for dollars. Pastor Seer then directed an usher to fetch anointing oil, a key feature in his previous miracles. After praying and anointing one of the young men with oil, the young man began shaking uncontrollably and eventually collapsed to the ground. After a few moments, the young man rose to his feet, visibly shaken. Pastor Sear instructed him to check his pocket, and to everyone's amazement, the young man discovered dollar notes inside. The congregation was shocked by this manifestation of divine intervention. Many believed Pastor Sear should continue performing such miracles regularly. Number 17. Notre Dame fire. The fire that struck Notre Dame, one of the world's oldest cathedrals, was a heartbreaking event for the Christian community. Despite the devastation, there emerged a remarkable tale of hope and faith. As flames engulfed the sacred site, miraculously sparing the altar and cross, many saw this as a sign of divine protection. It wasn't just about saving the church, it felt like a message from above. The story took an unexpected turn when a woman claimed to have glimpsed Jesus' face in the fire. Her words quickly spread across the internet, causing many to think deeply and feel amazed. Others, too, reported seeing the silhouette of Christ amidst the flames. While some remained skeptical, many found solace in this vision of hope and renewal amid tragedy. However, amid the sorrow and reflection, concerns arose about the cathedral's future. Some feared it might become more of a tourist attraction than a place of worship. The image of Jesus in the fire was seen by some as a touching reminder to refocus on Notre Dame's spiritual purpose. Number 16. Whispers from the shadows. Two ghost hunters decided to investigate an old, deserted church in Charleston, Texas. When they arrived, they found the place in complete disorder. At first, everything seemed normal, but just 2 minutes into their investigation, their special device, which detects unusual energy, like electricity, started beeping and flashing red. What puzzled them was that the church had no electricity or any modern equipment that could cause such a reaction. Unfortunately, they didn't have their earphones to help them hear better, so although they couldn't see anything strange, however, they sensed something wasn't right in the church. Suddenly, strange howling sounds filled the air, but the investigators couldn't figure out where it was coming from. They suspected it might be a ghostly warning, telling them to leave the church alone. Despite feeling uneasy, they decided to continue their investigation, keeping their camera recording. However, they couldn't see anything unusual with their ordinary eyes. It was only later, when they watched the footage, that they made a terrifying discovery. A dark shadow appeared close to them, almost like a gust of wind passing by. This revelation shocked them deeply. After their unsettling experience, both investigators suffered from health issues and hair loss, which they believe are linked to their encounter with the church's spirit. They have never fully recovered from the ordeal, regretting their decision to meddle with the paranormal. Number 15. Phone call to heaven. Pastor Saya Gori, a Zimbabwean pastor at Victory World International Ministry, has gained fame for performing numerous miracles, including a notable instance in 2017 where he walked on water. However, it was a different miracle that truly captivated people's attention, when he purportedly called God using a cell phone. During this extraordinary event, Pastor Gori first verified he was speaking to heaven by asking, "Is this heaven?" Upon receiving confirmation, he proceeded to inform God about a woman kneeling before him, seeking divine information. Surprisingly, as the conversation continued, God allegedly revealed details about the woman's husband, whom the pastor had never met before. Moreover, Pastor Gori claimed God informed him that the woman had 2 sons, one suffering from epilepsy and the other from asthma, details the woman confirmed tearfully while kneeling. This remarkable video has sparked widespread interest and discussion. Many wonder about the possibility of having a phone conversation with God. Number 14. The abandoned church. This church was once the heart of a small town, a sacred place where locals found solace. Adults gathered for worship and community meals, while children joyfully played in the backyard. But then suddenly, the vibrant life faded, leaving the church deserted and forlorn. No one can say what transpired in the once holy building that led to its abandonment in such a short time. An investigator, drawn by rumors of a dark past, decided to unravel the mystery of the forsaken church. Upon arrival, he was met with a scene of utter decay and desolation. It was as if time had stopped here long ago. The investigator observed shattered benches, a crooked cross, stained windows, and a large red mark on the church floor. The mark mysteriously resembled the outline of a human body, fueling speculation that a tragic event, possibly a human sacrifice, had stained the church's history. What dark secrets lie buried within these walls? Does the spirit of the past linger, haunting those who dare to enter? These questions lingered in the investigator's mind as he delved deeper into the chilling puzzle of the abandoned church. Number 13. Gabriel Amorth's Last Deliverance. Gabriel Amorth, an Italian Catholic priest, was known for his extraordinary skill in deliverances or exorcisms, having banished around 100,000 demons in his lifetime. His final exorcism has become very famous. It involved Christina, an Italian woman tormented by a demon that neither doctors nor priests could ease. Her attacks were particularly intense on days significant to Jesus Christ. Initially, Gabriel tried to coax the demon out by taunting it, hoping it would reveal itself, but it resisted. As Christina's suffering worsened, Gabriel realized he needed to use his most powerful methods. With Christina's family holding her down, he used holy oil and directly challenged Satan, demanding that the demon disclose its intentions. The spirit declared it could not tolerate anyone touching Christina. Undeterred, Gabriel persisted, surrounded by Christina's loved ones, including her boyfriend, whose presence agitated the demon further. The battle between good and evil intensified as they struggled to restrain Christina, while Gabriel fervently prayed and employed imaginative techniques, creating a spiritual sanctuary within her mind. Gradually, the demon inside Christina began to weaken. Her frantic movements subsided, and she started whispering the prayers along with Gabriel. It became clear that she was finally free from the demon that had tormented her for so long. Number 12. Jesus speaks to his followers. The voice of Jesus Christ is a mystery to most, yet believers know he communicates with them. On September 11, 1999, at Battery Park in New York City, hundreds of Morans from all corners of the globe gathered for the World Marian Peace Rally. The event included various religious ceremonies, including a solemn mass in their local church. During the mass, something extraordinary unfolded. As the priest led the worship, his voice unexpectedly deepened, carrying a profound echo. When he lifted the holy host, his words quivered, as if infused with divine presence. Many listeners believed they heard the voice of Jesus himself. This divine transformation occurred twice. First, as he raised the host, and again when he raised the cup. The words, "For my body will be given up for you," spoken in what was believed to be Jesus' voice, deeply touched and amazed everyone there, making a lasting impact on the Marian attendees. Number 11. Pope Francis's Miracle. In St. Peter's Church, a remarkable moment involving Pope Francis made headlines worldwide. As people waited in line to meet him, the Pope did something unexpected, caught perfectly by a camera. Among the crowd was a man confined to a wheelchair. He had lost his ability to speak due to what was believed to be demonic possession, and he sought a special blessing from the Pope, particularly for his legs. Approaching the man, Pope Francis placed his hands on him and uttered a prayer. The man's reaction was striking. His mouth opened as if in pain, but in reality the demons within him were feeling the torment. The Pope continued to pray fervently for the man, invoking the power of God. After finishing his prayer, Pope Francis moved on to the next person, leaving the man visibly moved. However, what followed shocked everyone. The man suddenly rose and began to walk again. The Vatican clarified that the Pope had simply offered a prayer and not performed an exorcism. Yet, for the man who had undergone numerous exorcisms without relief, the Pope's blessing brought an unprecedented sense of comfort and healing. Number 10. Divine Revelation. In a Georgian cathedral, worshippers were amazed when a seraphim angel appeared for a full 15 minutes, coming in and out of an icon of Christ. This happened during a solemn church service called a divine liturgy. The angel's presence wasn't just a trick of the camera. Everyone in the congregation saw it, and many recorded videos on their phones to share later. This made it clear that something extraordinary was happening. From different spots in the cathedral, people could see the angel clearly. It had glowing wings and a halo, just like the red seraphim angels in traditional depictions. These details confirmed to everyone that they were witnessing something truly divine. During the church service, the atmosphere was quiet and respectful. Each time the angel appeared and disappeared from the Christ icon, it felt like a sacred and significant event. People were deeply moved and felt a stronger connection to their faith. News of this event quickly spread beyond the cathedral, sparking discussions about faith and miracles. Number 9. Insects storm a church. We've all heard about the deadly plagues God sent to Egypt. Water turning to blood, frogs, lice, flies, livestock pestilence, boils, and more. Imagine the shock of churchgoers in Peru when they experienced a terrifying event that felt just as biblical. During a regular Sunday service, something unimaginable happened. The moment the priest uttered the word God, an army of insects stormed into the church, filling the congregational area. The attendees, who had gathered to worship, were horrified. They tried to escape, but the insects seemed to be everywhere. Every corner of the church was crawling with these terrifying creatures, creating a scene straight out of a nightmare. It felt as if the insects were there to feast on human flesh. The locals were left in shock and disbelief. They saw the incident as a divine message, a warning from God to avoid evil and bad deeds. The event became a topic of intense discussion and speculation. To this day, no one really knows what caused the infestation, leaving the churchgoers with a lasting sense of mystery and awe. Number 8. A miraculous blink. In the chapel of the Cathedral of Saltillo in Mexico, there stands an engraved statue of Christ that captivates and mystifies all who see it. This statue, published by Adimensional Paranormal in August 2016, hangs noticeably on a cross above the altar, appearing still and lifeless at first glance. But there's something mysteriously different about this statue. As the camera zooms in for a closer look, a surprising thing happens. The statue blinks. Yes, the eyes of the statue, which had always been closed, suddenly open wide and stare blankly ahead before gently closing again. The sight is both amazing and frightening. Is this a miracle, a divine sign from above, or just a trick of the light? Number 7. The mysterious cry for help. In January 2022, after months of quarantine restrictions, a local church in Mexico eagerly welcomed back its congregation for Sunday Mass. The attendees, filled with joy and relief to be back in their beloved holy place, were expecting a peaceful and uplifting service. However, something frightening soon shattered the calm. During the priest's sermon, a terrifying and chilling voice suddenly interrupted the proceedings. At first, it was a faint echo, barely noticeable, of a woman crying for help. The priest, occupied with his sermon, didn't seem to hear the voice, so the service continued. But the voice did not fade away. Instead, it grew louder and more desperate, leaving everyone in the church shocked and frightened. The priest tried to carry on with his sermon, but the relentless cries for help became unbearable. As the voice grew more desperate, attendees looked around frantically, trying to find the source of the haunting cries. A particularly piercing scream echoed through the church, prompting everyone, including the priest, to stop and search for the origin of the sound. Despite their efforts, no one could locate where the cries were coming from. To this day, the source of the mysterious and terrifying cries for help remains unknown. The question still lingers: who was it that cried for help in the sanctity of the church, and why? Number 6. Restoring Sight in Africa. Evangelist Daniel Kolenda is an American pastor at Nations Church in Orlando, Florida, but his influence extends far beyond the United States. Evangelist Kolenda has held numerous crusades in African countries, such as Mozambique and Zimbabwe, where his miraculous acts have left many in awe. One particularly surprising miracle involved a woman who had been blind for many years. Despite seeking every possible medical treatment and even trying traditional remedies, she had found no cure for her blindness. Desperate and hopeful, she decided to attend one of Evangelist Kolenda's crusades after hearing about the incredible miracles attributed to him. Filled with faith, she approached Evangelist Kolenda, hoping for a miracle. During the crusade, he prayed fervently and spoke in tongues before laying his hands on her. In an instant, she regained her sight. To confirm her restored vision, Evangelist Kolenda raised his fingers and asked her to count them. She was able to accurately identify 2, 3, and 4 fingers, even from a good distance, proving that her sight had been fully restored. The crowd watched in amazement as the woman's faith and the pastor's prayer combined to create a moment of pure, undeniable miracle. Now it's time for today's subscriber pick. In the small town of Willow Creek, Mrs. Jenkins stumbled upon a peculiar video titled 20 Church Videos That Will Shock You. Intrigued, she clicked play and was greeted by a scene unlike any she had witnessed before. The video showcased Pastor Bill, a jovial man with a likeness for breakdancing, using his unique skills to heal ailments. In one shocking moment, Pastor Bill spun on his head to cure a woman's chronic back pain. Mrs. Jenkins couldn't believe her eyes as the congregation erupted in cheers and applause. As she watched, Mrs. Jenkins found herself drawn into the infectious joy of the church members. Their faith was vibrant, blending traditional worship with modern enthusiasm. Pastor Bill's unusual methods challenged her preconceptions about religious practices, leaving her both excited and confused. Mrs. Jenkins shared the video with her neighbors, sparking lively discussions about faith, healing, and the power of unbridled joy. The church's unorthodox approach became a hot topic at the local diner, and even inspired a few townsfolk to attend services out of curiosity. From that day on, whenever Mrs. Jenkins heard the beat of a dance tune, she couldn't help but smile, remembering Pastor Bill and his extraordinary ministry. Number 5. Ghost Pianist. Recorded in July of 2007, this eerie video was shot inside a chapel in the woods at night. The chapel is rumored to be haunted, so the group gathered their courage and ventured inside. When they opened the large wooden door, they found that everything inside was made of wood, from the pews to the ladder they planned to climb. While they stood there debating whether to climb the ladder or not, they heard distant piano music. They quickly turned off their flashlights, realizing they might not be alone in the chapel. Peeking into the next room, they saw the ghostly musician playing the piano. Terrified, they decided to run for it. As they dashed past the ghost, he kept playing. Once they got outside, the music suddenly stopped, and the sudden silence made everything even scarier. Had the ghost followed them? Number 4. Mission Trip. In Sofia, Bulgaria, during a church service, a remarkable event occurred. A blind woman suddenly regained her sight. The congregation was shocked, seeing it as nothing short of a miracle. Amazed by the moment, they sang hymns of praise and continued their service while the woman expressed her gratitude to God. Much later, the attendees realized there had been an extraordinary presence among them, though unnoticed. That particular day held a profound significance. In the wake of the Soviet Union's collapse, a group of American evangelical singers had traveled to Bulgaria on a mission trip. Upon returning to Tennessee, they compiled footage for a thank you tape for their supporters. During the editing process, they spotted a figure in the background, a man with long hair and a beard, dressed entirely in white. He bore a striking resemblance to the traditional depiction of Jesus Christ. Excited, they shared the video with the Sophia Church, hoping for clarification. However, no one could identify the mysterious man. Even those who had been near him had not noticed his presence. It seemed as though Jesus himself had appeared in the church, performed the miracle of restoring sight to the blind woman, and then vanished without a trace. Number 3. Exploring an abandoned church with Danny. This video was uploaded in 2020. It shows a man named Danny venturing into an abandoned church built in the 1870s by William Henry. Rumors of ghost sightings and frightening screams at 3 a.m. have long surrounded this place. After circling the church several times, searching for an entry point, Danny finally squeezes through a small window. The interior is in a mess, with broken floors forcing the crew to tread carefully on narrow planks. The atmosphere is chilling, with the constant drip of water echoing in the background as they explore. Pigeons flutter and coo in the rafters, adding to the strange atmosphere. Suddenly, they hear another sound, footsteps and a loud bang from a nearby room. It's clear they are not alone. At one point, they confront a wall covered with graffiti with a doorway leading to another room. Movement catches Danny's eye, prompting him to call out. Initially unsure of what he's seeing, he quickly pans the camera back, shocked by what he captures. Standing there is a woman dressed in white, holding what appears to be her own severed head. The sight horrifies Danny and his companions, who swiftly retreat from the ghostly apparition. Number 2. Battling demons. In many religions, stories about evil spirits are common, but sometimes believing in your faith isn't enough. In a video, a man struggled with demons that had taken over his mind. These scary beings drove him crazy by whispering bad thoughts. He first went to a mosque for help, but the imam couldn't free him from the demons. Then they took him to a church in Egypt, where a priest tried to chase the demons away. The man looked very confused. When the priest held a cross near his mouth and called for the spirits to leave, the man screamed in pain. The priest used holy water and kept praying, fighting to free the man from the evil spirits. Gradually, the man started to feel better. With the power of prayer and faith, he finally found peace as the darkness left him. Number 1. Forgotten sanctity. The church you're looking at now used to be the heart of a small town. It was a place of peace and prayer for locals. Grown-ups attended Mass and shared meals together, while kids played happily in the backyard. Then, everything changed. The church became empty and forgotten, like a ghost town. No one knows why this once holy place turned into ruins so suddenly. An investigator decided to uncover the church's secrets after hearing about its dark past. When he arrived, he found a scene of complete decay and abandonment. It was as if no one had set foot there for ages. Inside, he discovered broken benches, a crooked cross, stained windows, and a large red patch on the church floor. Rumors had circulated that a human sacrifice had occurred on the altar many years ago. Seeing the red stain shaped like a body seemed to confirm these unsettling stories. What really happened in that church? The mystery remains unsolved. Which of these incidents do you find most shocking? Let us know your opinion in the comments below.